Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to make this really adorable 6x6 mini album using my 6x9 envelope mini album template. Is that what I call it? 6x9 envelope template? Okay, well that's what we're going with. It's super cute. It's using the Stack the Deck binding. It's got a cute little closure. All of the links will be in the description box below. Everything that you need from my Etsy shop to other YouTube videos, anything that I reference, hopefully will be in the description box below. The timestamps will be there. They won't be there as soon as the video's posted, but they will be there shortly after. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this, and leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. Enjoy! Alright, well let's just jump right in and get started making the 6x6 mini album. I'm using this Happy Day stack from Die Cut with a View. I got it at JoAnns. So what you need, if you're wanting to make this exact album, what you're going to need is 12 sheets of patterned cardstock. Now this one has foil on it. This cardstock has foil on it, which will go through my printer just fine. My patterned cardstock has a white back. So what I did is I've got 6 designs. I've got 2 of each pattern that I'm going to use in this mini album. I've already picked them out. I've decided I'm going to use this polka dot pink for the cover, for one cover, and then this one here for the other cover. So those 2 are going to be covers, and then these are the 4 other page designs. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to move this out of the way. First thing I want to do is cut the patterned cardstock down. Okay, so we want to cut this down to 8.5 by 11. I'm getting my big Fiskars rotary cutting tool out. Use whatever you have. If you just have a craft knife and a ruler, use that too. On some of these it doesn't matter how you cut them, so I usually cut the shortest side first. There we go. So this would be 8.5, so I'm just going to cut this down. And this paper trimmer will go through both pieces if you happen to have this paper trimmer. So then I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to cut it down to 11. This way it fits in my printer. Alright, so there's 2. This is going to be 1 page, these 2 pieces of patterned cardstock. So when the pattern doesn't matter, it's easy. Let's see. Where's one of them? With this one, I want to make sure that I keep this. I'm going to use that as a tag later. So I'm going to cut it at 8.5 right through here. Let's see if it fit my, yep. Oh, barely. So I'm going to cut this down to 8.5 and save all your extra pieces. And then I think I'm going to cut this end off first. It's actually right at 12. Discard that. And I'm going to flip, because I like this little pattern right there, I'm going to flip it over to this side. And I'm going to cut it to 11. Alright, so I'm going to cut the rest of them and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got all of my 12 by 12 patterned cardstock trimmed down to 8.5 by 11. And if you're going to make your 6x6 album just like me, then we are also going to need 2 sheets of white cardstock. I don't know what weight this is. I'll find out and I'll let you know. Because we are going to line the cover pages with the white cardstock so that the cover is sturdy and it's just cardstock. You don't have to use any kind of chipboard or anything like that. So this is all just paper, no chipboard. So okay, so you're going to need 2 of those. And what we're going to do is first I'm going to set these aside, the cover pieces aside. So for each one of my patterned cardstocks, on one of them I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to print the patterned envelope template on the back side of this. And then on the other one I'm just going to print the plain template on the front side. So 4 of these pages get printed on the pattern side, and 4 of them get printed on the white side. Now if your pattern cardstock is got a print on both sides, then you can do it however you want. But this is the reason I'm doing it this way is because I have a white backside. Okay, so then that's what we're going to do for the pages. Okay, for the covers, what we're going to do is on the 2 pieces of white cardstock, we are going to print the patterned template on the white cardstock. And then one of each one of the patterns, nothing is going to get printed on it. So we're going to set those 2 aside, and then these 2 are going to have the clasp part, the plain template, printed out on these 2. I'm going to go do that really quick so that you can see what I'm talking about, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got them all printed out. So here's the 6 where you printed on the patterned part of the cardstock, or of the pattern paper, and this is the part 2 of the 6x9 envelope. So you want to print 6 of those out on your chosen pattern cardstock. And then here is the 2 plain white cardstock pages with the doily pattern. This is part 1 of the 6x9 envelope with the doily pattern on the back of them. These are going to go with the covers. So here's my 2 plain, didn't print on anything, or didn't print on the front or back covers, and then those 2 are going to go with my covers. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and move these 2 out of the way too. So I'm just going to put the covers aside and we'll work on those in a minute. And then here is the first part of the 6x9 envelope printed out on the back side of the pattern cardstock. Now there's a reason I did it this way, so just hang in there. So what we want to do is we want to trim them out just like we normally would. So I'm going to I'm going to get my paper trimmer back out just real quick. My Fiskars very large rotary cutter. And you just want to trim down each one. So I'm just going to trim one and keep all your scraps because we're going to be using quite a few of them. So I'm just going to show you how to put one of these pages together. I don't know, maybe 2. We'll see. So you just want to trim it down. You know, even these little strips could be used like as washi tape or something, or to highlight something, or any of that. Where's my scissors? And then you want to cut your corners off and trim out. You all know I'm not a very good, I don't trim it very well. So I try to design my templates with that in mind, that I'm not the world's best at, you know, cutting a straight line. Alright, so there's part 1. Now let me find the other part to this one. It's right here. So then we want to cut this one out too. And you want to trim this top part off. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. Alright, now you would need a bone folder and my ruler right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to score all of these fold marks here. Oh, you know what? I got an even easier way. If you've got a score pal or a Martha Stewart scoreboard, this is even easier. If you place it like this, if you cut it out pretty decent, you should be able to score right there on the 9-inch mark, right there on the line, just like that. And then you should be able to score, flip it around and score a 1/2 inch right there. And can you see? Yeah. And a 1/2 inch right there. If not, use your ruler and it does the same thing. Oh, I need to change my battery. I'll be right back. Okay. So then what you want to do is you want to turn your part 1 to where the flap is over towards this end. You want it butted up to the corner here. And what you want to do is you want to measure 3 inches, or at the 3-inch mark, you want to make a score. So then what you want to do is you want to take, let me get a smaller pair of scissors. If you can see the score mark, probably not. I'm not very good at, alright, there you go. If you can see that score mark, you want to kind of notch a triangle out just like that. And then you want to notch this side out. Just like that. And then these top flaps, you want to fold in on itself. Like that. And then this one over here, fold it in. And then you want to flip it over and fold these this way, towards the back. So basically what we've done is we've made a pocket on this side. Okay, and then on this side, there's where the flap's it's gonna be folded down like this. All right, let me move this again. All right, so then you take this part 2, and we're gonna glue it down just like normal, just like that. But before we wanna make sure if you're gonna ink edges, now would be when you need to ink the edges. Just like that. And also, before you glue this down, you don't have to do this. It depends on what kind of closure do you want. Like if you're wanting to put a brad in here, it would be easier to do it now versus later. You'll have to, dig down in there. But I'm going to do it later because it can be done. Alright, so I'm going to use Beacon Fabri-Tac glue. I like this because it grabs quick. Tacky glue works too, but it kind of sometimes can warp your paper, and that's a little frustrating. Alright, so we just want to put glue along this edge and glue. You can also use score tape if you want it to. With this album, I'm not going to use score tape except on the binding, which I'm going to do the Stack the Deck binding, just so you're aware. Alright, so then you want to line it up on one side, line it up, and then it should fit perfectly on the other side depending on how good of a trimmer you are. And flip it over so you have a minute to move it around. All looks good. And so to give that a second to dry, then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to glue these tabs down. You could make this pocket go the other way if you want it to. It's up to you. This is just one way. It's just a cool way to use the 6x9 templates, 6x9 envelope templates. At least I think it's pretty cool. Alright, so there's our pocket. So then you can either trim this off with your paper trimmer or your craft knife or your scissors. I'm going to use my scissors. Hopefully I won't cut into that bottom there. Alright, so now we got this piece left over, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those yet. I haven't quite thought of something fantastic. Alright, so now here's what you have. Your page is going to go this way, so the binding is going to be here. So there's your flap with your pocket, and then when it flips, you have the pocket over here. So let's see, I need to ink it. Like I said, you don't have to ink it. It depends on how good your trimming ability is, or the way you cut out your fussy cutting. And so the reason I printed the pattern on the inside is so that the pocket would have a pattern on it. Or you could leave it white if your patterned paper has only got a pattern on one side. You could leave it white and you could mat it with your pattern cardstock too. Either way, I chose the doily on this because there's some doilies in this pattern paper collection, so I thought that would be appropriate. Oh, you know what I forgot to do before I glued it down? I forgot to ink this edge right there. So yeah, you want to ink that edge first because it's not the easiest thing to do once it can be done, but I tend to be a little bit messier after the fact. Alright, so there's one of our pages. One of our pages done. So I'm going to go ahead and make the other 3 off camera, and I shall return. Okay, I got all 4 of those pages put together. They all have pockets on one side and the flappy doos on the other. They're all inked up. I'm going to put those aside, and we're going to work on the covers now. First thing, we don't need these right at this exact moment. We need to do some other stuff. So we're gonna, the part 2 of the 6x9 envelope template, we're not working on that. We're gonna work on part 1. So I'm gonna use a magnet closure, sort of, kind of like a half a magnet closure. You'll see, I think it's kind of cool. So I'm gonna use the flaps on my envelopes, on my covers, as part of the closure. So I'm just going to have to do it. I don't think I can explain it. So I'm going to use one set of these, which is, I'm going to use this one for the back cover. So what I'm going to do is I'll put this aside for a second. I'm going to put a magnet in the flap. So in order for me, I'm going to glue these 2 together, back to back. So in order for me to get the magnet sandwiched, I had to do some measurements to find out exactly where my center point's going to be. So I've come up with, let me make sure I've got this right. Yeah. I've come up with, it needs to be 3 3/4 inches from this side, 3 3/4, and then 1 inch from the top. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my ruler down where it's 1 inches from the top, and then I'm going to mark it at 3 3/4, just right there. And let's just hope that my measurements are correct. And then I've got these basic gray magnets. I'm going to take a glue dot. I'm just going to use the one side, and I'm not sure, you'll have to test this theory out. I'm not sure if it really matters which one you use. So, alright, I'm just going to stick that there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these 2 pieces together. So let's just start with this so I can go around the magnet here. Let's start with this side. So you want to put a pretty good generous amount of glue because you're still going to have to fold these things. And so you want it to have a lot of contact. The glue have a lot of contact with each side of the paper. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, and then I want to match these up. Just like that. And then I want to just keep giving it a good press because you want to move that glue around. Alright, I'm going to set that aside for a minute, and I'm going to do the back cover here, except there's not going to be a magnet on this one. So I'm just going to glue these 2 pieces together the same way, except minus the magnet. Okay, we're going to set these aside, these 2 covers pieces, and then I'm going to cut these 2 pieces, the part 2 of the 6x9 envelope template. I'm going to go ahead and cut these out, and I shall return. Okay, now I've got those 2 pieces cut out, and these are getting there. But the next step is I'm going to use my ruler because I want to go ahead and kind of prep these score lines here before I cut it, because I'm afraid that the glue won't hold the papers together all that well. Let me make sure I'm getting the whole thing. Well, I keep shifting. You just want to maybe go over it a couple times. So then basically what you're going to do is just kind of be gentle with it. You see how the paper I don't know if you can tell, but the paper kind of pulled away from each other a little bit right there. So before we trim it, it's not really going to matter on these little flaps, but it's going to matter on that flap. At least I think so anyway. See, by scoring this ahead of time, it makes it so much easier to fold it. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold this flap down. Okay. I'm going to do that to both of these. Alright, so now we want to trim these out. Let me get my heavy duty Fiskars Rotary tool. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. Okay, so a couple things I want to point out. So we are using the Stack the Deck binding. Well, it's only so thick, meaning here's this is just one of my cheap templates that I have. It's only going to be this thick because we're using the top or the first two flaps on each side as the cover flaps. So it's only going to be 1.25 inches thick. So these flaps are a little bit bigger than 1.25 inches. Yeah, they're 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut them down a little bit so that when we finish the closure, you'll understand when you see. So I'm going to cut a little bit down off of that right after I cut. Let's see, how do I want to do this? The covers, you're not going to be able to change this part. This is going to be 6 inches. But we are going to change this part. So the other pages we did 6 by 6 is what we did. Well, we're going to do 6 1/4 so that the cover sticks out just a little bit further from the end. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this bottom piece off. Doesn't seem like it should be this difficult. Cut that bottom piece off there. Then I'm going to flip it around. No, I'm not either. How am I going to do this? Maybe I'm going to do it like this. Why is this frustrating me? I need to cut it to 6 1/4. Let me just go ahead and trim the top off. Sometimes I just can't think. I know you all do the same thing. Let's just fold this down like that and cut it this way. So 6 1/4 is what I'm going for here. And then just slice this bottom off. Boy, I'm having a hard time explaining myself today. I'm so sorry. Hopefully it won't seem so messed up when I edit. I'm just using my regular, I'm pretty sure these are Fiskars. I'm not sure, I can look. Singer, these are Singer scissors. Singer scissors. So you just want to trim around like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this other one prepped and ready to go, and I'll be right back. No, I'm not. I forgot. I was going to cut 1/4 inch off of my, oh, it's okay, off of my flap here. Oh, for heaven's sake. So let's just, it ends up being at 7 1/2 if you leave the flap out there. So we want to cut that piece off too. Goodness gracious. So my magnet should be right in the middle, and it feels like it is. Alright, now I'm going to get the other piece ready, and I will be right back. Alright, now I've got the front and back covers ready to go. I'm going to use this one as my front, and this one as my back, and this one has the magnet in it. So when it's closed up, it's going to look like this. The spine's going to be over here on this end, and the closure is going to be right here. So you see why I cut off that extra 1/4 inch so that it would meet up just perfect. Alright, so now that I've done explaining that, now we're going to glue the same as we did before. Let me get my bone folder out. I'm going to burnish these just a little better. That's lovely. And we're going to make sure you ink this first, and then we're going to glue it down just like the pages. So I'm going to use Beacon Fabri-Tac as my glue again. So we're just going to put it on the flaps here, and then line it up the best you can. Before it's completely tacked, you want to flip it over and see how it looks. Now, because the cardstock is double on the back side there, it's going to take a little bit more to get it to stay. Let me go ahead and glue this one. My glue is erupting over here for some odd reason. Same thing. Make sure, well, of course I've got the right one. Put this piece on there. When I made my prototype, I just used the cardstock as the cover. I didn't double it up or anything. So that's how I learned that I needed to make it a little thicker, because it was a little flimsy. Alright, same thing. You want to flip it over and cut off that extra piece there. So now your finished envelope, when it's closed up, is 6 inches tall by 6 1/4 long. I'll do that for both. Alright, so now we want to ink all of our edges. I'm using archival ink and coffee, my favorite. So I'm going to ink all the edges of both sides of these covers, and then I will be back. Alright, now I've got both cover pieces ready to go, inked and ready to go. Now we need to work on the binding part, the Stack the Deck binding by Laura Dennison. I will link her video below. I think every time I make a video using this, I put her link to her original video in there. Okay, let's see. So I've got all these scraps, right? I don't want any of the small ones. I need the pieces that we cut off when we cut our 12 by 12 paper down. So my front covers are both going to be, my front and back covers are going to be this light pink. So I think I'm going to pick one of these to be the inside, and then I'm going to pick, I think, this pretty color here to contrast to be the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to glue these two together back to back like this. So let me do that real quick. And you want to try to get complete coverage because we're doubling up the spine here. It's basically what we're doing. I've got to keep capping my glue so it doesn't erupt again. So again, we're going to line up the edge. Oops, I already missed. Line up the edges. Smooth it out. And take something flat, something you can really burnish the two pieces together. See, I think this will be pretty as a spine. See, there's the front and the back. See, I think it would look really nice. And then if I continue that over onto the, I think it'll look pretty. That's all I'm saying. And then I'm just going to trim it down to 6 inches. Because I'll end up needing both of these, a whole one of one and a little bit of another. So we got our two 6-inch, whoops, one of them's a little longer than the other. Well, okay. Let's see, where's my thingy? All right, we're gonna need a piece that's 2 1/4. So let's just go ahead and cut that piece. 2 1/4. And then we're going to need, this is why I like to have my little cheat template here. Then we're going to need 1 3/4. This one might just be just perfect. No, but it's 1 1/4. No? Oh, duh, Jennifer. It can be 1 1/4. I was looking at the wrong marks. Oh yeah. When you're dealing with little pieces like this, it can be really frustrating. There we go. So there's the 1 1/4 piece. The, what did I say? 2 1/4 and 1 1/4 piece. And then this one is supposed to be 1 3/4. So it should line up. Oh, wait, 1 3/4. And see, we still have some left over. All right. Now we're going to get our, well, Martha Stewart scoreboard back out. And basically all you're doing is, I got glue all over me, 1/2 inch from each side. So this piece is a 2 1/4, so at 1 3/4 you want to score it there, and then 1/2 inch from the end, so just at 1/2 inch. So you want to do that to all 3 pieces. It's always going to be 1/2 inch from each side. This one you're only going to have 1/4 inch. Well, sorry about my dogs if you can hear them. They're kind of, they must have heard something. Alright, so basically then you just want to flip it over, and you want to go ahead and prep those score marks. So see, this is going to be the outside, and this is going to be the inside, if that makes any sense at all. It will when I'm finished. I hope. Wouldn't that be something if it didn't? Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to use score tape. This is score tape by Score Pal. I think it's Sue Queen. Yeah, Sue Queen. Any double-sided strong adhesive would work. This is just my favorite. And this is 1/4 inch. So on the biggest piece, what you want to do is use the score tape on the flaps. Don't get all the way up to the score line, but don't be too far away from it either. You don't have to cover the whole thing, but you do want to do front and back. You could use wet glue for this if you like, but I think since the covers get a lot of wear and tear, I think they should you should use something stronger. So like I said, you want to do the front and the back of the biggest piece on the little flaps there. And that's it for those two, for that one. I need to get this glue off my fingers, it's driving me crazy. Alright, and so for these pieces, you want to cover the middle part of the back side. So you don't need to use it on the flaps of these. You can if you want. And then the smallest piece just takes 1. It's almost too big. But the 1/8 inch score tape, it's so tiny, I just don't trust it as much. Alright. So then you also want to take a minute and you want to do the corners of each one so that the pages will slide down on it easily. Even on the cover piece. Alright, so start with the bottom piece. Oh, let me go ahead and burnish this just a little bit. Make sure there's good connection. Alright, you start with the bottom, and then the middle piece, the medium-sized piece. And then you want to remove the tape. Oh, for crying out loud. Do any of y'all say that, for crying out loud? Is that just a southern thing? My mama had all kinds of weird sayings. Some of them are extremely inappropriate. For little old country lady, she sure did say some weird stuff. Okay, so then you just want to put it right in the center to where there's 1/4 inch on each side. So you just want to line up one side, straight edge, And flip it around. Now see, remember I told you the two pieces weren't cut exactly 6? Well, we'll have to trim that sucker off. It just is what it is, right? Yep. I put that piece on, and then the last piece goes in the middle. Yeah. It's good enough. I don't know why I feel like I'm shaky today. I'm trying to hurry. My son's at school right now, so I'm trying to hurry to get done before he gets home. That was probably what part of my problem is. Okay, just trim that little extra bit off. It was just a tiny, tiny sliver. Alright, and I think what I'm going to do too is I'm going to go ahead, and just ink this top and bottom piece, because you'll be able to see that in the finished product. Yeah, because you could see it in my prototype, and I didn't like it. Alright, so now let's go ahead and start putting our mini album together. I have a garbage over here on the right hand side of me, in case you're wondering where I go. And then my paper trimmer is on the right hand side behind me a little bit, so I have to reach back there. So if I sound like I'm talking in a tunnel, it's because I'm talking to the wall behind me. Alright, so now let's go ahead and start putting it together. So I'm going to start with the back cover, and yeah, that's the back cover. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape, oh crap. I'm going to take the score tape off of one side here. I probably should have measured it, but I'm going to flip it over this way. I think it'll be easier. And then I'm just going to, without putting any pressure on it to seal it up, I'm just going to wiggle it in there, and then I'm going to press. So you want to go up to the score mark, but not over it. I hope you can see. Up to the score mark, but not over it. Alright, and then you want to turn it over and take your craft knife or your pokey tool or something pointy. You want to reach in there and pull out that other piece, and then push that down. Just like that. So that's the back cover. Back cover is on the spine. Alright, let me see. I'm going to see how I want my pages to go here. I think I'm going to start with this as the front page. This one, this one, this one, this one, and then the cover. Okay. So I also think I'm going to alternate them. Like I'm going to put them in with the flaps facing each other, and then the other way. Well, you'll just see. You'll see what I'm talking about. This time I'm going to use quick dry adhesive from Scotch, and I am going to put glue on both sides of this next flap. And then I'm going to slide this down over top of the flap without going over anything, over any of the score marks. And I need to try to make sure I line it up with the cover, because they are the same height. Okay. Just take your time. Make sure you get it on there just right. I know you all have seen me do this before. I'll try to remember to link different videos. Alright, and there's one page, and then let's go to the next. And so this time I'm going to put it this way and have the two flaps facing each other. same thing. Just want to slide it over the flap. I'm going to slide this over top. And just slide that down. So, and this is a neat project. You get to use all your scraps, and you can use everything that you cut off as inserts. You could print this off on white cardstock or craft cardstock or colored cardstock and then mat them with like your 6x6 paper pads. You just have to trim them down just a wee bit. There's so many options that you can use with this 6x9 printable. Especially, you know, just the envelope. I mean, you just keep going and going and going with this envelope. But I like this 6x6 idea. I like the idea of the 6x6 album. I don't think I've ever made one on YouTube before. Alright, and then the last piece is the cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one side off just like last time. And then I'm going to be careful when I slide it on there. Careful not to go too far. Okay, that looks right. Push it down. I know score tape might scare people, but if you don't really press it down, you can pull it back up by using like a spatula type deal, like a palette knife. It does work. It will come apart. It may take a few layers of paper off, but it will come apart. Alright, so there's my cover. Alright, so the reason I made the cover, see now why I made the cover is just a little bit longer, just so it doesn't hit these, because there is a little bit of elevation in the middle there. So, alright, so the closure. I'm so excited about this closure. I'm going to use a 7 Gypsies crystal ball knob. Tim Holtz makes some pulls and stuff, but I really just liked this one. I thought it was really pretty. I thought it'd be really pretty with this paper. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna get my ruler out. The Tim Holtz ruler where it has the center point. I like that. I need to find my pencil. Alright, I'm gonna find the center. I'm gonna go about, what is this, 1 1/4 inch? I'm gonna go 3/4 inches up. And then I'm going to see if I can't get it on the center. Maybe I should try it this way. I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch away from this top there. I might want to... There we go, that's easier. I'm going to mark the center. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't go 3/4. Maybe I should. I shouldn't go 3/4. How much did I say this is? 1 1/4 inch? Yes. So 1 1/4 inch, what is 5/8? So it's more like right here. Alright, good enough. So then I'm going to take my little foamy mat that I made out of 2 pieces of thick fun foam. And I attached them together. I'm going to take my pokey tool. I'm going to make a little bit of a hole there. Then, see, these have those screws. So it's 2 pieces. Oh. See, 2 pieces. So I'm going to take the screw part and I'm going to come in from underneath the flap. You don't want to make the hole too big. You want it to poke through and move the paper just so it's tighter. And then I'm going to put the knob on top there. Screw it down on there. I am going to tighten it with a screwdriver. Just really quick because, whoa, I got an avalanche over here. I've got my original 6x9 printable tablet journal that I made. Alright, I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to hold the ball and I'm just going to keep going until it's good and tight. There we we go. It's not going to go anymore. All right, so when it closes up, that the screw part of that ball attaches to the magnet. So that's my closure. That little closure, isn't that sweet? All right, let me get stuff together to do some inside stuff and the covers. I went back into the paper pad and I pulled some more pages from the pad, and I did print off a few more things, like this little envelope here, the little mini policy envelope. It comes with the envelope and then two inserts for a different printable, but I just cut it in half and now I'm just going to use them as little inserts. And then I cut down some more pieces. Well, let me get to that one in just a minute. This one is, I took a 12 by 12 piece of paper and I folded it in half and I glued it so that I could have double-sided inserts, and this was just one of the pieces left over from that, so I cut it down to fit inside there. So then I printed those out, and then I printed this envelope out. It's part of the template, and then these are also part of the template, the inserts. So I've got 4 of these. There's one more somewhere. I promise there is. I don't know where it went. Okay. I've lost it. No. Well, I'll find it. So there was 4 of these. Because, you know, when it prints out... Oh, no, I take that back. There's not 4. There is 2 of these, double-sided, of course. This was just one of the extra pieces from cutting it down to 8.5 by 11. I told you I'm losing my mind today. Okay, so the insert template, you know, they're on top and bottom like this, and then you know they fold in half. So I got 2. I printed that out twice, once on that paper and once on this gold stripey paper. Let's see what else. I don't think this was a template. I think this was just a piece left over from something. And then here's that love that I told you about. I just folded it in half and trimmed it down. I'm going to use it as an insert. Here's another piece that it just made a double-sided insert and folded it down. One of the scraps left over from the 8.5 by 11. And then I also picked out full sheets for the inserts for the actual 6 by 6 pockets. So I've got 6 of them here. They're all double-sided and they're all inked. And they measure 5 3/4 by 5 1/2. That way they'll slide into the envelope nicely. So let's go ahead and get all this stuff in here. Well, that goes in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the album so they don't get lost. Alright. So, this will be fun watching me do this, won't it? I bet. Bet you're just thrilled. Alright. The reason they're cut to 5 3/4 by 5 1/2 is because that hinge thingy there is at 1/2 inch. So when you glue it, it takes up about 1/2 inch. So see how nicely they fit into those big pockets? And then let's fill these up first. And then this one, go in here. Uh-oh, there we go. You can print as many, you can put as many of these as you like inside these pockets. You can put different stuff in here. This little bow tie one, isn't that cute? Or not bow tie, a bow. Technically not a bow tie. Oh, that one looks like it might be snug. Alright, and then let's do a green one in the pink here. I hope I'm on camera, I can't really see. And then, uh-oh. Oh no, I'm not missing one. Here's one. Let's put this one in here. Thought I was missing one again. Alright, and then let's put this one in the back cover here. You can cut them down a little snugger if you need to. All right, so I wanted to stick this envelope here. Seems like right here would be a really cute space for it to be. And then this one, oh, no. Well, maybe, I guess right here. We'll just stick them both right here. How about that? I just thought that this paper right here is so cute. I just think it's adorable. Such a good color combination, too. Let's put this love one right here. Maybe add a little bit. Maybe put this gray one over here with the little teacups. And one of these gold. Maybe even one of those small ones because it's cute. Alright, so now I got three more pieces to put in here. Let's stick this gray one in here. Gosh, that seems like a little much for that. Let's put this bow tie. So you can have as many tags as you like. We're going to put this one, I guess we'll go right here. Alright, so that's all the things that I printed out to put in here, or made to put inside the album. So, kept it simple. I'm not going to really do any embellishment on the inside right now, but I am going to finish the cover. Alright, this is one of the pages that come with the collection. So I think I'm going to use some of the components on here to finish off my cover. So first, I wanted to get some of my scraps. Okay, I've got a plan now. I've gathered some things that I think I'm going to use for the cover. I'm going to use some paper strips that I had left over from when I trimmed, and then this was from that sheet that I just showed you. I just cut some things out that I'm going to use on the cover. I think I'll fussy cut. Ooh, I'm excited about that. So what I think I'm going to do is use, I think I'm kind of wanting to, I'm going to have to trim these down, but kind of do like a layered look of 3 of the different papers, kind of like that, on the front and the back, so it kind of carries over that, that spine color, you know, to the front. So I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to have some distressed edges on that side, where each one are overlapping. You know what I mean? And this is a Prima distressing tool. Okay, I'm going to do that to all 3. So I think I'm just going to layer them on. I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac again. And I'm just going to run a bead of glue along this one. And then I'm just going to take one end and line it up, and I'll trim it off to be the right length in a little bit. So I think that'll be really pretty. And then I'm going to put this layer on. I don't know if you're like me, but finishing off the cover sometimes is the hardest thing to do. I don't know why it is, but sometimes you just get overwhelmed and you're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, that happens a lot, so I don't want y'all thinking that you're the only ones that happens to, because that is not true. Right, so then that will go right there. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty. All right, I'm going to repeat that again for the back side. I'm just going to get my paper trimmer out and trim it down to 6 inches and hope that that's correct. Okay. I'm going to do it like this. So 6 inches, just like that. Bring my cover over here. Yep, that'll work. And then 6 inches. Oh, this one's got messed up on one end. And 6 inches over here. Okay, so I am going to ink these edges. I'm just going to ink this top and this bottom and the one dark side, not the other edges. Alright, I'm going to start on the back side too, I think. And I'm just going to glue it down. And basically you just kind of want to like cover up the pink paper on that edge there. Line it up pretty good. Push it down. Just like that. Looks pretty spiffy. I need to ink, once this glue dries a little bit, I'll ink the spine edge too. Alright, flip it over, do the same thing. Now I think I'm going to use this, I know for sure. And I want to rip the edges, or I might just use my thing, my paper trimmer. I mean, not my paper trimmer, my, what's it called there, my distress tool. Well, my fingernails are in desperate need of attention. They are definitely due, without a doubt. I have to talk to my nail tech about that. Alright, this says, enjoy the little things. So I thought it'd be kind of cute, tucked up under here, or one of these layers. Or I might have to cut that off a little bit. One of these, and then I thought about layering this bow here. So I'm going to fussy cut those out. Maybe not right this minute. Then I was thinking I wanted to use one of these flags. I wanted to maybe layer them. So I'm just gonna get it on there pretty good, like that. So now when I trim it out, I can gauge it a little bit better. And I might even try to, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to ink my edges. Let me do that real quick. Oh, my green piece. Oh. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe having that flag there, which is cute. And then this bow. Oh, I was going to use this tag too. It says to and from, but I'm not gonna use that part. I'm just gonna like tuck it. But I was thinking having it flipped up a little bit and ink those edges. Having it up under here like this, so where it's just peeking out a little bit, just the color and the little flower. I thought that was cute. And then I'm gonna fussy cut this little flower out because it's the same as that, and I'm gonna pop it up. I'm gonna do that too. Oh, I don't know if I should make you all watch this. think I'm going to flip these little tails up just a little bit. So I'm going to layer it. And then I think I'm going to have these up a little bit like that. If I can get them to stay, that is. I might have to put, yeah, like it's cute. And then I cut this tiny little strip off that piece I just cut off from when I did these covers right here. I'm going to use this to wrap around the center of that bow. I think I'm going to use some glue dots. I think that would be the easiest way. First I'm going to glue the bow together. So if I have to, I'll end up putting something under there to keep that with some dimension. Then I'm going to put a glue dot in the middle of that little piece there, just to help hold it while I bend it around here. I mean, is that not the cutest thing ever? I mean, ever? Maybe not ever, but it's pretty stinking cute. Whoa. Well, fighting my glue dot thingy. But it's amazing what you can find inside your paper pads of what fun stuff you might be able to use to make your cover. I mean, you don't have to worry about matching things up and everything. Look at that cute little bow. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to put this on pop dots. I'm going to have this maybe right there, this under here, maybe. I might have to cut, that might be too big. Alright, and I might have to trim this down a little bit. Like that. And maybe this too. So I'm really kind of wanting to tuck this stuff in, you know. My green piece is really stuck on there good. Let me find something. Let me. See if I can, whoa, that's sticky. Why is that sticky? Let's not use that. Oh, here's one. This would be perfect. Just to get up under there a little bit. So I'm kind of wanting it to go like that, and then that to be just sticking out like that. Maybe up a little bit. Stick out like that. And then I really did want this tucked in there a little bit more. Maybe like that. And then let me get some glue. Wait a minute, there might be some smaller ones here. There are. Oh, they're tiny. They're little bitty. Holy smokes. These are really tiny. Let's see how hard it is getting these little backs off. Alright, so then I want it to like layer that there for some dimension. And then maybe just have this little bow like right there. I think it needs to scoot up. Right? Is that not cute? Isn't that sweet? Alright, let me glue stuff down before I get too excited about it. Oh, that is so cute. Yep, I like it. I like it a lot. Maybe I could put the date there or something. Isn't that cute? Okay. While I'm waiting on that to, uh-oh, my glue is erupting. See what I'm talking about? Erupting. It's extremely annoying. It's so wasteful. Oh, you know what? There is one more thing that I wanted to show you. Let me clean this up and I'll be right back. I wanted to show you what I thought would be a great idea for the closures on the 6x9 envelopes on the inside. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully this is dry enough, I'm going to pick a contrasting paper, like for this one. I think that would be pretty on there. And what I'm going to do is I have this little flower punch. This is a Stamp It Up punch. I don't know what it's called. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch out 3 of these little flowers. And then I'm going to ink them up just a little bit. Whoops. So alright, all 3 flowers, ink them up, and then I've got these little brads. And since there's gold in this paper, I thought I would use a couple tiny gold brads. Alright, I'm going to find the center again, and I'm going to try to find the center of the thingy. What did I say, 5/8 of an inch? No, that's not right. These are full, so this is, it's not, it's 3/4 of an inch. Jeez. So I'm finding the center here. I'm going to mark it with my pencil. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to mark it down here too. Right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piercer, my paper piercer, if I can get that on there, poke a hole there, and then carefully poke a hole there, and I'm going to poke a hole in 2 of these, in the middle of 2 of these, or close to the middle as I can get. I'm going to stick that brad through. I'm going to stick it through that top hole there and open it up just like that. And then this one that I did not poke a hole in, well, I can't even pick it up. I'm just going to glue it right over top of that brad. Oh, see, I'm trying to hurry. My son will be home soon. I'm sorry, I apologize. But I wanted to show you this because I think it really adds that little extra touch. And it covers that tiny brad. You know, of course you use whatever flower punch you want and whatever brad you want to use. And then the same thing with this bottom one here. You're not going to be covering it up, but you want to stick it on in the hole there, and then you want to gently get on in there and open up those prongs. There we go, that helped. And it takes a little bit more, just like that. Then I'm just going to take a piece of, I happen to have this embroidery thread, or crochet thread, I'm sorry, just in a plain old white color, and I'm just going to tie it on this bottom one. I'm just going to do a double knot. No big deal. You could try to get some glue up in there if you wanted to. And I'm going to cut this tail off. So then it should wrap around just nicely. Once you get it going, it should anyway. So if you wanted to add closures to all your flaps, that's a really, really nice, easy, pretty matching way, I think. You could also sew buttons on there, or just use a really pretty brad. You don't have to use the flower punch. Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. You can cut circles out of the pattern paper and make them into the little, what are those called? They have a name, I'm sure, tie thingies. We're just going to leave them at that, tie thingies. And it does keep them from wanting to flop open. So I like it. I really like it. I think it turned out pretty good. If you make a video using my 6x9 envelope template, please tag me or email me or something so that I can see it. I would love, love, love to be able to see what you guys make with these. I guess that's it for now. And I will see you next time. Bye.